Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome here if it's your first time. In today's video, I'm reviewing the NiceHCK F1 Pro planar magnetic IEMs. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So this is the box of the F1 Pro. I know it looks pretty darn plain. It does indeed, but you know, I'm okay with that. Inside you get a pretty nice carrying case, this one actually, and you get a very good selection of silicone ear tips. Let me give you a quick sneak peek. So you got some there, some there, some there, heaps of different types and sizes of tips. But let me just bring in the IEMs now. And I will start, as always, by telling you the price, which is $99. Yes, just $99 for a planar magnetic set. So we're in that, just under that sub $100 mark. Competing with this one, I guess there's not a whole lot. There's the Salnotes Dioko. Wait, was that planar? I think it was. I didn't like it very much. There is the Kiwi Ears Melody, which is cheaper than this, but quite different sound signature. And then there is, going even lower, there is the KZ PR1, PR2, PR3. But anyway, inside here, so remember, $99. Inside here, new generation 14.2mm planar diaphragm driver. In case you don't know, NiceHCK, I think they started as an AliExpress store. Like their store has been around for years and years. They were already in the game when I started doing my reviews like 7 or 8 years ago. So they've been around forever. They make a lot of their own cables, and for quite a few years they've been making their own IEMs. So this is their second generation F1. It's the F1 Pro. Let's start today, I don't know, let's start with the shells, because they are, they're pretty sweet. They are really nice actually, even though I have them backwards right now. But yeah, those are the shells, and I don't know if you can see, but they're pretty small. Look, just for a comparison, I'll put them up against the Heidi's MP145 for a second. That's the kind of difference you're looking at. So the shells are very small, and they are very comfortable as well. It's a nice simple design, but they fit very naturally in my ears. And the build quality, they're CNC machined, of course, aluminium alloy shells, lightweight, durable, they look great, and they're comfortable too. So, and then there is the silver plated copper cable, which you can see here, and I gotta say, it's a pretty darn good cable. It's very nice. If anyone remembers the, oh gosh, what was it, the original BGVP IEM that made them kind of popular in the West, I think it was like a DM3 or something 3, I can't remember. But anyway, it's similar to that. It handles really nicely. I love these color-coded connectors, 2-pin connectors here, 0.78mm, and it's just a very nice cable. You can actually buy it with cable upgrades as well. The price does change. This is just the standard default version, which is $99, and you can, I believe, choose between 3.5mm unbalanced and a 4.4mm balanced cable. But for a $99 IEM, great cable. Let's come back to the shells. I find them super comfortable. I've worn these all like for several hours at a time for a couple of days in a row, and yeah, no trouble at all with comfort. But now let's dive into the sound. How does the F1 Pro sound? Well, surprisingly, this one sound, well, not so surprisingly for me, because I've heard NiceHCK IEMs before, and they do, in my experience, make some really good stuff. And this one actually does sound very good. Holy cow. It is a fairly balanced sound signature. It does have a slightly boosted bass. It's got a mellow treble, and the mid-range, I would say it's kind of neutral. Maybe the position, the staging position of the mid-range vocals and whatnot is slightly pulled back or pushed away from the listener. So it's not a super intimate mid-range. I know I'm kind of mixing things up today. I'm going to start with the mid-range. So the mid-range is it's not really intimate, but it is very articulate and clear. It's a planar driver, so you know that the instrument separation is very good. The resolution is pretty good. Both vocal and instrument timbres are on point, and yeah, it's pretty impressive. It's quite spacious. It's not what I would call a rich mid-range. Like I said, it's fairly neutral. That some people might consider it a touch dry perhaps, but it's definitely not what I would call lean or thin. Now let's talk about the bass now, and yeah, the bass is pretty satisfying here. So let's throw up the graph at this point, and there you can see, so there is a nice healthy amount of bass there, but it does roll off fairly quickly towards the mid bass. But surprisingly, the mid bass does still pack a bit of a punch, and even bass guitars come through quite nicely, and they have enough richness, and male vocals have enough richness in them. So I'm pretty satisfied with the level of mid bass. And then the sub bass is kind of the transition from mid to sub bass is fairly even, so you're getting a pretty good mixture of both, although the very upper bass region is perhaps slightly attenuated. But then you've got the vocals, which I said are a little, or the mid-range, which is a little bit recessed, just slightly, not so much in terms of relation to the bass and the treble, but more in terms of the stage position, which is slightly pulled back. But of course, that does have the advantage of giving you a larger sound stage perception. Let's talk about the treble real quick. It looks a little bit peaky there in the sibilance region, and I will say that if the track you're listening to is inherently sibilant, these won't really mask that. But the IEMs on their own, by their own devices, I would not call sibilant. So for, well recorded music, it's really not an issue at all. And you will notice a fairly rapid drop off in the treble after that sort of 8 kilohertz marker there. And so the treble is somewhat subdued. It's pretty laid back. It's not going to be a problem for treble sensitive people. And it might attenuate the level of detail retrieval just a little bit, but you got to remember this is a planar IEM. The bass is pretty tame. It's slightly boosted. It's very controlled though, so the treble doesn't need to be all that forward for those details to come through, although it might not be the utmost in micro detail retrieval. And in terms of technicalities, good instrument separation, good overall resolution, good detail retrieval. Not the best detail retrieval, but certainly on par with what you would expect for something at this price point. Nice clean bass, pretty good imaging, and fairly good stage depth for a budget planar magnetic IEM. And I've been listening to these for a few days now, and today I was thinking, you know what, these sound familiar. There's something I reviewed not so long ago that reminds me very much of these. And you know what it turned out to be? It was these. It was the Hi-Vis MP145. And these are actually a $199 IEM, so they are pretty much exactly double the price of the F1 Pro. But I couldn't shake the feeling that they sounded very, very similar. So look, let's have a look at the graph of those two. Check that out. The red one is the F1 Pro. The grey one is the MP145, and you can see exactly just how similar they are. But, and this is a big but, And this is a warning not to rely 100% on graphs, because you might expect these to sound pretty much identical. They very much do not, although they do both have a very similar tonality, which is what led me to, this comparison in the first place. The MP145 definitely has a more visceral bass. It has a better bass depth and authority down there. It just feels more powerful. You kind of feel it more physically in your ears. Now, I'm not saying the F1 Pro falls short in the bass. I found it satisfying, but yeah, you do, for the most part, you get what you pay for, and in this case, the MP45, you're getting a better quality bass, at least for me. Like, if you are a bass head or even slightly inclined towards being a bass head, the MP145 is definitely the one that you should consider. Now, in terms of everything else, they are pretty much neck to neck, except for perhaps the overall resolution, where I find the MP145 once again pulls ahead. So resolution, bass authority, bass depth, definitely the MP145 comes out ahead, but you do have to pay like double the money for that benefit. So circling back to the NiceHCK F1 Pro, look, this is a very, very good IEM. It's a great planar IEM for $99. If you're shopping around that price range, definitely consider these. If you want something that's really warm and rich sounding, go for the Kiwi Ears Melody. If you don't have the money for these, then go for one of the KZ PR models. And if you've got the money to spare, go for the Heidi's MP145 or the Let Shure S12 Pro. Yeah, we are spoiled for choice, but right now at around $100, this is one of the best planar IEMs out there, in my opinion, considering the quality of the cable, the accessories, the carrying case, and the audio quality and the shells. This is a good one. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, PARFM audiophile style. If you're new here and you want to see more content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you later.